Welcome to Tales from the Trenches Tuesdays. Today, it's my absolute privilege to have Susan Fochs on with us. Susan is a self-proclaimed nonprofit aficionado and coffee connoisseur. Susan originally hails from Door County, Wisconsin, with a bachelor's in human services leadership and business admin, as well as a master's in public policy. At 18, Susan founded the nonprofit organization Operation Not Alone, which is dedicated to serving military members and veterans under an umbrella of mental health initiatives. She still runs the organization almost 10 years later with a dedicated team of 6 people, with a 6-figure valuation, and received national recognition for the global impact. Around the same time of launching her own nonprofit, she was highly involved with the Miss America organization, holding 3 local titles through the Miss Wisconsin Scholarship Organization. She earned recognition from the Miss America organization with her charity work and winning the Jean Bartel Scholarship for military awareness on their national stage. Susan currently works as the director of sales for Headbands of Hope, a one-for-one company that donates headbands to children battling illnesses. To date, they've donated over 1.5 million headbands to every children's hospital in the U.S. and 19 other countries. In her free time, you'll find Susan hiking, kayaking, sipping coffee, or hanging with some adorable rescue pets. Welcome, Susan. It's hard to believe you have any free time based on that bio. Right. And so just one of my last questions is, when you decide where to give your, Susan's, charitable dollars to, how do you plan it in advance where you're going to, financially support? Is it kind of one-off? Is it reactive? How do you decide where to give and how much?
The only thing I'll say I do plan for is for Giving Tuesday right after Thanksgiving. I have a silly rule for myself, which is I do save quite a bit of money for that particular day. But my rule is that if I'm on Facebook, because we launch Facebook fundraisers, we do the whole thing. But if any
Sure.
fundraiser that I see that like one of my Facebook friends has donated to, like on Giving Tuesday, I've always like dedicated that, like if I see it on Giving Tuesday, that I'm going to donate to it. Like just
Oh, good
it's
on
like
you.
my one silly thing, because I also kind of hope that like juju comes back and people will like also do that for Ona. But no, my rule for
Sure.
Giving Tuesday is if I see a Facebook fundraiser that I'm donating to it that day. So yeah.
So much of fundraising is there to kind of reshuffle the deck and to make sure that there's a level playing field for folks. It's to, kind of fix some of the systemic inequalities that are out there. So how do you see that, happening in time? Because I think, 10 years ago when you started this nonprofit, military mental health was not a big thing that was spoken about, right? It was a pretty quiet.
Yeah, honestly, I view the mental health aspect, especially for veterans, to be so much better of a conversation. But and here's the thing: we I think everyone knows the statistic that there's 22 veterans per day who are completing suicide, and I mean that number is going down. Like it is working, but it's only, the average is like 20, I think now. It's just not 22. 22 is what people have stuck in their head, so sometimes you still see that. So it's going down a little bit, but it's still, because there's still 20. I'm like, okay, we're getting better, but it's not solved. We are not free of a world where people
Right.
do not take their own lives. We are not free of a world where, people do have easy and affordable access to therapy that they're going to every single week. We don't even have enough therapists. If we could make it affordable, we don't even have the kind of staff for it. So there's still so much happening there. And quite frankly, I think that is a huge key to what the future of a lot of mental health conversations for veterans and for just everyone in general. It's not only making it more affordable, more easily accessible, but we also just need more trained professionals in that field. The pandemic shined a great light on that. The fact that we do not have enough people in that, and that's a very long training process. I mean, that's master's degrees and licensing hours and all these things to become a licensed therapist. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what we can do to not only get more trained, qualified professionals in that field to be answering that call, but then also, so how do we get more people and how do we make that more affordable for people moving forward. So it's kind of a two-tone thing, and I think it's getting so much better, but it's clearly not solved. So there's still so much to do.
Susan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. It's probably been a little over a year since we last chatted, but
Honestly.
it almost seems like yesterday. You are such an
Well,
easy
thank
person
you
to
for
talk
that.
to. If folks wanted to get hold of you, how would they go about doing that?
Oh yeah, honestly, I mean, social media is a great way. Like, find me on well, quite frankly, I would say Instagram. My personal is either my cat is in the middle of all these. My personal Instagram is just at Susan Fochs, so Fochs, or you can find me for Operation on a Loan, so just at Operation on a Loan. Otherwise, I'm always free to give out my email, which is just Susan at operationonaloan.net.
Amazing. Susan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Jack. This was an honor.
Hi, folks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right here.